So I think we should be talking more about the boar. Why? Because it's easy to get lost in metaphor. It is easy to say, well, yeah, but we are not that primitive humans anymore, and we don't actually need to go outside and hunt for game and bring it in. So it's quite easy to just make it all something like a conceptual thing that we can't even grasp. And this is my idea, of course, but when I started talking about it with people, this movie came to mind. That's actually based on a novel by John Grisham. The movie's called A Time to Kill, uh, featuring Matthew McConaughey and Sandra Bullock and Samuel L. Jackson. It's a great movie if you want to watch it. But the gist of it is that in Mississippi, in a small town, Mississippi, a girl gets raped and the guys are caught and brought to justice. They go to trial. And before they can actually go to trial, the father of the girl kills one of them or maybe two. I don't remember, but he kills someone. So then the father goes to trial. And of course, it's Mississippi, is a small town, and the now murderer is a black man. The lawyer, that's Matthew McConaughey, is a white man. And they are kind of friends. The movie kind of lets you see that. And there's a scene. This is what prompted me the idea. There's a scene when the lawyer is asking the defendant for money for his services. And at some point, of course, the man that he was living on his job basically, and he's detained now. He's imprisoned because of the trial, and he can't work anymore, and he has no more money. And so he says, "I can't give you more money. I have to feed my child. I have to feed my children because he has many children." And so the lawyer, a white man with a college degree, exercising the law, says to him, "Well, I gotta feed my kid too." As I said, it's easy to get lost in the metaphor, but both men in that scene have a boar to catch. One of them is kind of impeded of doing so because this is behind bars, but the other one, the one that's a free man, he still needs to feed his child. And this happens in every level. Maybe sometimes we focus so much on money and property and net worth, and how much we actually have that we forget the boar could be something else completely. You can be all set, and then let's say you're a football player and you're all set, and then you make a huge blunder. Well, your career now is suffering because no one wants to set. No one wants you. No one wants you. If you're the blunderer, if you're the guy that dropped the ball, if you're the guy that missed the pass, if you're the guy that missed the penalty kick or whatever, no one wants you. You're the blunderer. You still have the money you earned before. If you have a house, you still have it. But your career will suffer, and a lot. And this is also true for many people dealing with a kind of a board that's not actually something, but a status that they need to maintain or improve. Capitalism, capitalism works like that. You either grow or you die. So you can't. This is a conversation I'm having repeatedly lately. But you can't just say, "No, I will sustain." No, you will disappear. If you are in a capitalist system, you will disappear. If you're not, then okay, that's a possibility. Yeah, if you're not in a capitalist system, let's say you found some way to um, be isolated from that somehow. I don't know. You live in the mountains, or you live in a communist country, or you live in I don't know, an island. Then you can sustain. This is what we did before. We sustained ourselves. But when you're in the capitalist system, your boar is to grow. If your company is not growing, if your company is not growing, you can't ask for loans. The bank is gonna see your balance sheet and it's gonna ask, why aren't you growing? Yeah, well, then maybe I don't want to lend to you. This is not a healthy company. This is the way we think now. And you can't change that from the get go. Maybe it will change eventually, but that's out there. That's like saying, no, that I don't like this boar. I like some different animal. Well, what we have is boar. This is what we have. And we all go after our boar. People wanting to get famous on TV go to casting after casting after casting and callback after callback after callback. People trying to make a living out of their art are trying to get their boar. And those are sometimes enjoying a big inheritance from their parents or whatever. And so they got money. But that doesn't mean that they don't need to go out there and get the boar. For me, for myself, it's just money. I just need to get an amount of money every month and we are all set. And don't get me wrong, I really like it when I get more so I can save some and invest some. But my boar is getting above the threshold of my spending every month to maintain my way of life, my lifestyle. For some people in really extreme conditions and unlucky, let's say, they need to get enough to get to the next day. And they don't have a choice. They need to get enough to get to the next day. If they don't get enough, then they have to trust that they have enough in them to get to the next day. And if not, they die. So for some of us, this boar, this metaphoric animal that we're hunting down, well, maybe not getting it is less consequential than for other people. But the consequence is a result of life choices. We put ourselves in a position of highly volatile results. That's just what we do. If we get to the point where a video of ourselves having blackface or doing shots into someone else's belly button, yeah, well, if that video is gonna end our careers, then yeah, we put ourselves in that position. If you find a video of me getting shots from someone else's belly button, no, that will not affect me at all. But yeah, we have this risks that we put ourselves in. And if we don't put ourselves in these risks, it turns out that we end up having the ultimate risk at the end of it. So it's a construction. If you build up your career, you need to get more clarity about the way you're hunting the boar and how much time you've got to get it, and what is it that is gonna forbid you. It's gonna completely stop you from getting the boar. But if you don't choose that route, then you go down. And now the boar is real. Now the boar is for today. And that's a hard balance to make. If you want to grow, if you want to advance, if you want to move forward in your career, you gotta get smart. You gotta get increasingly bigger and juicier, juicier with more juice, juicy boars. You're gonna get better at it, and you're gonna move forward. And then you get to a point where the boar is really difficult to get, really, really difficult to get. And so your life becomes this getting a boar. And if you don't get it, and it has a deadline, and believe me, it has a deadline. If you don't get it, then you're done. If you're in some Latin American countries or maybe African, there might be some social forgiveness for you. That can happen, but it doesn't happen everywhere. So yeah, this no one ex- no one is out of this game. Me myself, I'm out every day trying to get the money to sustain my life, and I'm happy when I get more money so I can save and invest. A really poor guy selling um, tissues at this train station, that guy needs money to get to the next day. But the CEO of a big petrol or oil company, that guy, I don't even know what he needs to get, but he needs to get it. He has a boar. And either he will get it or not. And if he doesn't get it, there's a deadline, like for everyone. Mine is longer than the poor guy. That's for sure. He has a daily deadline. Mine's longer. And the CEO of a big oil company, surely longer. But the boar's there. And the boar is smarter and he hides better and he has better strategies to avoid you. No matter where you are, if you don't know, if you can't visualize what your boar is and where it's your deadline, you're in trouble. You're in trouble, my friend. Because, as I said in the previous videos so far, all promises are broken, so you need to get a boar. Get on it. Hey, if you have ideas on this, remember this is an experimental thing, and I'm trying to polish it, and doing this helps me a lot. So subscribe, like if you like it. Please tell me what you think. You don't have to agree with any of this. Come by if you like it. And see you next time.